Hello, Patreon friends, and Edward here for another episode of What the Heck is that guy up to these days? And it's back again to the exploration of the process, my passion, my life's work. To bring these things out, explore them, go to places that most have never been to and will never go, and only the very few maybe have gone there and have documented it somewhere, and that information is stored in a secret chamber on a secret scroll somewhere. So anyway, enough with the drama. I wanted to explore something that piqued my curiosity as I was rereading again Ingo Swann's great book, Natural ESP, Guide to Natural ESP. Phenomenal book. And there's a sentence in there that I read and reread a few dozen times because it just struck me so curiously, where he was talking about how the ESP core, and we'll just leave that where it is, has the ability to construct and process psychic information. Well, that's a great sentence. Wow, that's a wonderful idea. But what does it mean, construct and process? What does it mean, construct? What is he talking about? Construct? Well, that's a great sentence, but what do you mean by that? What part of the brain constructs psychic information? How does it work? What part of the brain processes that stuff? That sentence, you could write 10 novels on that sentence alone, because there's so much there that needs to be defined and explained. What part of the brain is going to be active when the input is acquired, and what part of the brain constructs it and processes it so that our awareness, above threshold awareness, can comprehend it. So I took the idea into a session. I'm blind to the target, of course. All I'm using the target for only is to stimulate the part of my brain that is constructing and processing psychic information. That's how I work this. I get inspired by what they say, but they don't define it in any way, so I have to go and find it, explore it. This was the target. I was blind to the target. A couple of robots, kind of cute, kind of cool. All I'm looking for in this session is some level of confirmation via the quality of the input that I have acquired something real. That's the only purpose of this target. I just want to make sure that I've acquired. Once I've acquired it, then I can go do the more interesting stuff. This isn't interesting to me. So let's see what happened, and then we'll kind of go through what I had to research after I did this session. Test. Experiment UU01. This experiment is to first acquire and experience the input. Confirm that I have acquired the input. And then to explore the areas of my brain that might possibly take the input through a construction phase and processing phase. And I want to find and experience the part of my brain specifically that could or would possibly. Could I be a little more indirect? Take the input into some form of a construction process. To construct the input. I'm stimulating my brainstem. Construct the input. Flipping the pin. UU01. And my thalamus. Yeah, I feel something. Something. I'm feeling something. First impression-wise, is something curved. Like that. That felt good. There's something there that feels really, really curved. That's good. That felt good. It had the it had the feel of that something real had been acquired. I like that. I feel that acquisition has taken place. Yes. Let's see if there's anything in my nervous system to confirm and or add to that. So now I'm going to a different part to get at some additional quote-unquote target contact. So I'm going to go in and access my nervous system to see what other pieces of information can move up into the area of the brain that I am currently out to find. And then I'll go looking for this UU01. Ooh. That was probably one of my favorite ideograms I've ever made, right there. It had the quality, everything. When I'm surprised by an ideogram, I know that it's something real. And there's the ideogram that represents the actual target itself. And we'll go into what some of that stuff means. I like that one. I like that one. Yeah, okay. I'm satisfied there. Okay, all right, I'm going to take that. Now, the part of my brain, gotta find it. Now, first of going in there, this could be either random thought, or it could be unimpeded input in a visual. But this looks like the front of a boat. So I have to get that out there. That could be either unimpeded, or it could just be random thought. Could be some shape, like here, maybe something relative to the what's actually there, but the visual went through my creative center and turned it into a ship. That's why I had to get it out of there. I didn't know if it was a random thought or if it was unimpeded input. Unimpeded input meaning a straight, clear visual of the actual site or the actual location. And I wasn't sure about it, so I just had to get it out of my head. Back to the brain. Okay, the part of my brain, UU01. UU01. It's in there. Gotta find it. Gotta find it. This does not feel brainstem. Right. The part of my brain that I feel, so here, brainstem, it will be something right over here. A part of my brain here. Confirmed.
Some kind of, yeah, I'm getting this word of ganglia.
Confirmed as well.
Some form of ganglia processing mechanism in that part of my brain?
At least.
Okay, that's interesting.
It was very.
Bring UU01. UU01.
Back to it. Oh, wait a minute. I was getting something here. Oh, there's something.
I am seeing like this. I'm seeing more than one.
There's the other one.
Like the ideogram.
Yeah, just like the ideogram. So this is good enough for me. After the session, I got my feedback. I was completely blind to the target. After that, I go and get the feedback, and I can see that my sensations and my aesthetics were correct. That something real had been acquired. I don't need all the details about this. All I need is a representation. All I need to know is that there is an input that has been acquired. Then I can go and do the more interesting stuff. So I'm satisfied with this.
Let's stimulate my nervous system again. UU01.
Back to the nervous system.
UU01. No. UU01. UU01.
No.
UU01.
Those are thinking was going on in those. Takes a lot of practice to figure out between the two. Between a real stimulus coming through the nervous system and one that is just based on thoughts.
Random thought of craft.
I had to put it under the random thought or unimpeded. Don't know where it is. Don't know where it came from. Came out of nowhere.
The constructive, the part of my brain that constructs the input.
Now it's moved. I'm looking around in the area and it's moved to another part of my brain.
It's moved. It's moved to a different part of my brain. Where?
Oh, I gotta go looking around.
Okay. The processing, like it's moved to a processing storage area. How do I get it out?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Look at it. Like it's sitting in like a post-processing
Holding area.
docking station or something. I want to
It's sitting in some neurons in my brain.
or jar it loose.
I'm gonna try to jar it and unlock it and get it up into conscious awareness.
To get to the subliminal threshold. UU01. 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 No. UU01.
Thinking.
UU01.
Thinking.
No.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
No. I don't like any of those. I have to jar this thing loose. UU01.
Or attempt to.
UU01. Ooh. You use your...
That was an interesting
Oh.
one. Oh.
That's interesting, because that reminds me of like a Tibetan symbol or something like that. And that's an interpretation of this.
Yeah. I wonder what that symbol is. I was looking up. Maybe it means
It's
artificial
an
light.
interpretation of the ideogram.
That's pretty much it. I'm satisfied
Close to the
here.
threshold.
One more quick look. But other than that, I'm satisfied that I have acquired the input or the stimulus in the area of my
Okay.
brain.
I'm going to go with this. And I got to find that area.
Now I got to go do the research. Okay, so now then I had to go do the research. Okay, well, what part of the brain is over in that area? And what I looked up, what I found, oh boy, I'm going to get everything all, was the hippocampus, right here. Right in the area that I was feeling. Oop. Wait a minute. Right in the area that I was feeling. Right kind of above the brainstem. And so I said, oh, okay, well that matches the area. So what are some of the characteristics of the hippocampus that would relate to the notion of constructing perceptual impressions of a location? Well, the hippocampus is, or its role, or here's an explanation of the hippocampus's role in spatial memory and navigation. Studies on freely moving mice and rats have shown many hippocampal neurons to act as place cells. That was interesting. Another part of the experience where I felt like the input was in a storage area that cluster in place fields, and we'll go into that too. And these fire bursts of action potentials. Oh, look at that. Oh, action potentials. When the animal passes through a particular location, this place-related neural activity in the hippocampus has also been reported in monkeys moving around a room whilst in a restraining chair, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so that is good on that. So then we take a look at place cells. Place cells. And we go here. Let me read that. A place cell is a kind of pyramidal neuron within the hippocampus that becomes active when an animal enters a particular place in its environment, which is known as the place field. Place cells are thought collectively to act as a cognitive representation of a specific location in space, known as cognitive map. Cognitive map. Really? Well, what is a place field? Place cells fire in a specific region of an environment, known as place field. Place fields are roughly analogous to receptive fields of sensory neurons, in that the firing region corresponds to a region of sensory information in the environment. And that's the area here that they're showing that fires up matches the area that I was experiencing right here. What's a cognitive map, though? A cognitive map, sometimes called, but should not be confused with, a mental map or a mental model, is a type of mental representation which serves an individual to acquire code, store, recall, and decode information about the relative location and attributes of phenomena in their everyday or metaphorical spatial environments. Now, ganglia. I mentioned ganglia in here, and I found the basal ganglia here. And it is connected to the hippocampus right here. The basal ganglia. Here again they talk about the hippocampus and its cognitive mapping. So the ganglia, the basal ganglia, works with the hippocampus as well. Control of movements, learning, habit, cognition, and emotion. So those things work together. So that was, I was in the correct area of the brain as well, to try to answer the question of where in the brain, as Ingo mentioned, what maybe he didn't know, or it wasn't his job maybe, to really define what that means. That somewhere in the brain, as the input is acquired, a part of the brain that constructs the quote-unquote psychic information, or the input, or the stimulus, and processes it in this area right here. Well, that's it for this one. The exploration is never-ending as I continue to map the brain, my own brain, using remote viewing, using blind targets to stimulate the areas of my brain so that I can experience and map what parts of my brain are stimulated by the input, where the stimulus goes to as it continues to unfold and makes its way up to, through, and above the threshold of awareness. So I hope you find that interesting, and many more to come.